This town board meeting, convene this regular meeting now, and let's rise for the pledge, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming out this evening. Let the record reflect that Linda Bruno was absent. And Candace, when you want to open the public hearing for the sewer rates?
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of Queens will hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing comments on the proposed sewer rates for 2026. The public hearing will be held at 6 p.m. on December 11th, 2025 at Queens Town Hall, 18 Russell Ave, Ravena, New York. Stonehouse Hill sewer rates for 2026 is per unit per year $470, with the January through June payment being $235 and the July through December payment being $235. The town of Queens sewer rates for 2026 per unit per year is $520.52 for a January to June payment of $260.26 and a July through December payment of $260.26. Vacant parcels will remain at the yearly charge of $100, which will be divided into two bills of $50 each. Please take further notice that all interested parties will be heard at this time and place. Proposed sewer rates are available at the office of the Queens Town Clerk by order of the Town Board of the Town of Queens, Candace McHugh, Town Clerk.
Thanks, Candace. Make a motion to begin the open public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Any comments for the open public hearing for the 2026 sewer rates? Anyone expect to go up on the page? Seeing none, I'm going to move to public announcements. I just want to say that Linda Bruno is absent. I want to take a moment to appreciate her. She did suffer a fall recently and broke some bones, and I just want to take a moment to appreciate her consistent, quiet service for the community, and she never hesitates to help, and always moves forward with steadiness. And I'd just like to publicly express our appreciation, and I'm sure I'm not alone when we wish her a speedy recovery. Also, Don Bruno stopped into the office. These announcements were put on last minute. Stopped into the office to let me know that, well, for a reason, but we started talking. And Brian Wood from Albany County Emergency Services had secured a grant for Queens and Queens Hollow Fire Departments for each department to receive a generator and pumps with hoses. So it was just a quick conversation, but I wanted to express publicly that happened, and good for them. Also, our office move is complete. That office project is finished for the municipal offices for assessor's office, town clerk's office, supervisor, human resources, code enforcement, and business. We're all in the same location at 9W by Marco's Delis, and you'll see the town of Queens sign right out front. We closed on that property last year, December 16th, so that was 9 months of administrative work and about 18 board meetings, I think. And we began renovation on the 23rd of September and completed just recently, the 2nd of December, so that the construction was completed in 5 weeks. We got really lucky with a great construction company. It was completed ahead of schedule and under the budget that we were estimating for it. I think we were looking at $400,000. We came in under right around $207,000. And I'd like to thank everyone that helped on the project, all the professionals that worked with Queens, Jim Clark at LaBerge, Albert Gazzoli at AOW, Rich Riley at Gleason Dunn, Olsh and Walsh, board members and department heads and everyone that believed this project from the beginning and would work out well. And our staff is now safe, comfortable, and ready to provide town services in a professional and efficient manner. The completion of this project is a big deal, and we should all be proud of the work that we've done for Queens.
Yeah, I got a chance to take a look at it a couple days ago, and it is pretty impressive. I mean, just when you looked at when you thought about like the doctor's office, and then after that, once they moved, it was sort of in shambles a little bit, and now you walk in, and it's pretty impressive how AOW in 5 weeks went from what it looked like to what it is now. It's functional and it looks great, and I hope everybody has what they need there to be successful and to keep running the town.
Yeah, I look forward to working with them again. They're very aggressive bidders. They came in very, very low compared to everyone else. I think $100,000 lower than the next bidder. So good company and a good relationship to start.
And Supervisor, you indicated that we came in around 207,000.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a change work order that was about $21,000?
Yeah, the data.
So is that in addition to the
lines.
207, or is that the grand total?
Yeah, we had to remember in the last meeting we had to approve that $20,000 for the data lines.
Right. So would that make that number 227 or 228?
Yeah, that would bring that up to 227.
Is there anything else? I mean, I know it's mostly finished, right? I mean, there's a couple small things
Just
here and there,
signs and things like
but
that.
is there anything that they had mentioned that might be an additional cost still yet to come, or
No, they're
everything's
done.
just on
They're
par?
done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, so that brings us to the approval of minutes. Everyone received their minutes from November 24th and had a chance to review them. I'd like to make a motion to accept those into the record.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. They are in the record. Okay, old business. So we're gonna continue the conversation of transportation terminal definition. We have put out on social media the what we had pulled together, the background of the owner-occupied contractor yard definition that we were working with. We want to have everybody have a chance to read it and reflect on it and see if they have anything they would like to add or subtract. We also have the site plan review discussion and the transportation terminal local law. And that's where we left off with it with residents, and we had been in communications with industry, Amrise. Wanted to wait till this meeting before we started to set up for a more, I guess probably a series of meetings to hear the industry, their points and their legal points and where we want to move forward with this. But we wanted to first make sure all the residents had an opportunity to speak their minds on this subject. And that's where we are at. Was there anything that anybody wants to say about moving forward with, or moving the discussion forward with, I guess we'll start with transportation terminal definition.
So what's the update on the definition?
Well, we still have exactly what we had before. I think I had put the second message out with these online, so you could go on to the website to answer any questions that were out there. And I think I might have done the trick because there weren't too many responses on the second one. There were 0 comments, so I think we're getting close.
Also, as an update, I would just note that the planning board had an initial discussion about sort of these issues that have been raised at their request. I think they wanted to have an initial discussion themselves before they set up a joint meeting with the town board, so they've had that. And the town board has received communication from one of the planning board members just to start the discussion about when might they have a joint meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that communication came in this afternoon.
About 4:00-ish, and just said, hey, what dates are good for you guys? So I just responded and said, we'll look at our calendars and talk back and forth through email and see if we can find a date. And once that date is reached, we'll make sure we reach out, and obviously it'll be posted. Yeah.
Okay, and it seems like that's the way we're going with that, residents, PBZBA, industry. And hopefully we can pull this together in 2026.
So what is the proposed process? Are you
Can you just state your name and address, please, for the record?
Nick Laraway, my home address?
His address is fine.
2170 River Road, Queens, New York. I guess the first question is, what is the proposed process? Are you still looking to move forward with doing this in chunks, or are you looking to do a more comprehensive zoning review as we and other members of the community have requested?
Well, when we talked about that, we would, the comprehensive rezoning would be a pretty heavy lift. I think we're looking at working at these two pieces right now to move forward before we look at a comprehensive rezoning plan, which would probably take about 2 or 3 years.
I mean, it would definitely take a lot of time, but there's a lot of different pieces that interconnect, so we would again urge that there's consideration given towards a more comprehensive review versus just piecemealing it.
Well, that'll probably be part of the discussion when I think Steph Ferrandino reached out to be included in the conversation. So that's the point we're at. We wanted to have this meeting first to see if there are any sort of loose ends coming out. It seems like it's getting a bit tighter.
Certainly, but in terms of loose ends, I know we provided a letter and a number of comments at the last meeting. Those have yet to be addressed. I believe a number of other businesses provided letters. We're unaware that any of them have been formally or informally addressed. We saw some posts on social media, but certainly that is not our company's preferred mode of discourse and communication with the board. So we would request, a formal response to our letter and our comments at the last meeting as part of the record, because there was a lot of things raised that have yet to be addressed as far as we are concerned. And then as it relates specifically to what was posted on your town website, we're working on putting together a comprehensive review of all of our knowledge and the different minutes. Certainly a lot of those things are not available online, so we're doing a lot of digging through our files, and we've had some people down visiting Candace to get some different information. So we're hopeful at the next meeting we can have a more detailed response to it, but at this point it wouldn't be comprehensive.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have those conversations before the 22nd, which is our next meeting. I have spoke with a representative of Amrise, they wanted to get the temperature of the town, what our intentions were, and I assured them it was communication, working together with the industry, and it was a productive conversation.
Understood. So, without discussing specifics, I think that's something good for next time.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
So I would assume that site plan review update is similar to what we just went through with the transportation terminal.
And I would encourage everybody, who has questions still maybe to go on the website and look at what was posted. It's sort of a fairly easy to read, bullet pointed presentation of the background of, transportation local law and also to the site plan review. I mean, it's not full of legal jargon necessarily. It's just, the basic, chronological facts and process that's happened in the last several years. So if you still have questions, take a look. It's on the town website.
And procedurally, we're going to have a joint meeting with the Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals. We will then at some point ask for an advisory opinion to be provided to us. Once we get that advisory opinion, we'll take a look at it and we'll analyze it. And I assume at that point in time, if the board is still willing to proceed, with these new definitions, then another public hearing will be scheduled, and then we'll go from there. So there's still a lot to do, to move these definitions in this process forward. So.
May I just ask a question?
Sure.
I'm Kenny Burns, I live in the town of Queens. I know I should do my homework and go on and read and all that. I haven't. What brought all of this about, and what benefits are going to bring us?
Sure, go ahead.
We're just trying to correct what we think are defects, and that initiated a larger conversation. So that's what we're having right now. We found some inconsistencies, and we gave it to our legal department, and they agreed that they were inconsistent. And there's a disagreement from parties. And there's, we have residents, we have farmers, we have industry. Everybody needs to come and, say what they think or believe is going to either harm them or help them. And then we're going to try to find a compromise.
I don't understand why it's even been brought up, because it doesn't seem to present any problems. A lot of the local farms, I'm 70 years old. I've grown up working on farms, and every farmer I know has had a side job to keep his farm going, because you can't make a living as a farmer right now. And the local farms that I do know that do this, I don't see where it presents a problem to anybody. If anything, it's a benefit. What would the plus side of that be?
The reason for this, what instigated this, is truck traffic. We're trying to crack that nut, and it's a multi-layered, multi-headed hydra. So there's a lot of moving parts to it, and once you move one part, it's going to affect the others. We absolutely. I've never had a complaint in my office or an email or on the phone where a resident said, "I'm stuck behind a tractor and I'm upset." It's all heavy truck traffic, and we want to dig into that and see if we can mitigate that.
Is it mainly to get it out of the village, out of the town?
The complaints come from every aspect of the town, from the hamlet to the village.
I get that.
Yeah.
A long time ago, Steve and I and a bunch of us, we tried working on making some kind of a deal like with Lafarge to go from 144 to 9W and vice versa to the thruway, and use their right of way through there.
Yeah, I read that.
But I don't know if it ever went anywhere, or if they deemed that it wasn't, that Lafarge wouldn't do it.
I think the issue was it's like
Liability.
it's the equivalent to OSHA for drivers. The drivers would have to have a certain a special permit on their license to be able to drive through. From what I got from the minutes from that time, I think it was 2015.
I think Lafarge didn't want them going through their property.
I think there were legal reasons for it.
My recollection is too that on the Lafarge property to the east of 9W, where they would then pass under the thruway, that their permission from the thruway to pass under there is restricted, right? So they can use it for their own vehicles, but to use it to, transport trucks and whatnot under there, they don't currently have permission for that type of access.
All right. I was just wondering. Thank you very much.
Any other further comment? Any board members have any new business? We can move on to new business. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if this is what we were talking, Ron, about I had a conversation with the chief about him wanting to renovate the office a little bit, and he can't be near the court. I'm just noticing that there's these two offices. Is that part of the court too?
I believe these are rooms that are used by counsel during court session.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what the separation has to be between police and court?
I was made aware that you had a meeting with OCA or some engineers down here at some point, and you were part of that meeting, but I wasn't part of that meeting.
Okay. I was just curious, because I had that sort of impromptu meeting with the chief about him using this while we're going on to phase 2. Mike, I think you want to talk about phase 2 of after the municipal offices, then the police and the court and town hall on that 2-acre property.
Yeah, I mean, now that phase 1 is essentially done, right? I mean, it was always the goal when we bought that property, because it's such a large property for the area, that there was plenty of room to put this and the police station and build brand new. But now that we're here, we're almost at 2026, phase one's done. I think we as a board have to figure out what our vision is for, the police and the court and the town meeting room. And then, I'll probably have to hire an engineer, architect to figure out like a report, feasibility report to see how much it would be. I mean, that's the thing, right? We have to figure out how much it's going to cost to build what we want to build. And then we can always scale it back. But I think we have to really hop on that soon because phase one is done. And if we build anything from scratch, it's going to take a while. And I think we have ideas in our heads of what we're willing to spend, maybe, roughly, but we don't know until we get the reports, like how much it's really going to cost. So,
I mean, we initially got reports from MJ Engineering that talked about an addition to that building. We got numbers, those numbers are outdated now. We also got reports after that, if we're gonna move the police into that building, that building has to have,
Risk
category 4.
Yeah. So, I agree, we as a board have to sit down and really think about what the vision is, talk to the chief, see what his vision is. There's been talks of possibly using some outbuildings or something. There's been talks of potentially, building something separate and apart, but on that property.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just something that we're gonna have to, chat about.
Yeah.
And so I have been having conversations with the chief and the property owner of Marco's, which is contiguous to that property that we own. And he's willing to, the building that is perpendicular with the other two buildings, that one, it looks like there's a garage to it. If that were removed, because we're going to have to build the police station brand new because it's risk 4. It could either be built in that spot or maybe pushed back to the line, and you would know better than I from the PBZBA. I guess it's 14 feet. I think they were trying to do a variance for 7 feet at some point, but I think there's enough room.
I think it's a 30-foot setback is what you need, and I think they had 23 feet, and they had to get a 7-foot variance.
Okay.
I think the setbacks are 30 feet.
Yeah, and we'd have to sit down and look at maps and how we actually want to position the buildings, but that has to be built new. And like I said, I talked to the property owner. He's willing to subdivide. These are numbers that will go through at some point. He was in the office the other day, but I was talking to the chief, so he left at some point. But I can schedule a meeting with him tomorrow and then let you know where we stand with that. And
do you know what he has currently on the property that Marco's Diner sits? Like how much acre?
like an acre,
Okay.
I would say. He also says that you can see that there's foundation there, but I think the old owners were going to build something and then they retired and didn't finish it. I don't know if that's usable or what we're even looking at. Just the point is that there's room to maneuver if we need to, but it's always a question of money. So that's what's going on with that. And the chief is amenable to having a police station there, especially there. It's I think there's a question of parking, but there's 2 outbuildings. Maybe one could be removed, and the parking lot could be re-engineered so that there's more room. But that's where we are with. That's as far as we are with phase 2.
Would that be a combined police judicial meeting room type?
I think they would be separate, but I'm not sure. Mike had an idea of like an L-shaped building, but once it touches the risk 4,
That'd also be risk 4, I assume.
I think, yeah.
So you build the police station like here, and then you have like an archway, covered archway with double doors going to each side. Then you have the court and the town meeting room this way.
If you're gonna build one building anyway with external walls, all the external walls are gonna be like that anyway.
Right. Is that
Yeah.
more of a cost to do that? I mean, versus one code, was it code 4? Am I saying
Risk
4.
Risk 4, and the other one non-risk 4, or just a regular building? Is it cost that much difference? I don't know. And that's the questions we have to ask an engineer or whoever we decide to use.
Well, the court.
Start with the court
Yeah.
tax, OCA.
Yeah,
Okay.
OCA definitely.
Yeah.
Because OCA has to approve it
Yeah.
before we can even.
Before you can even entertain building it, right?
So, you know, a lot of questions, so we just have to start, you know, phase one's done, it looks great, it fits our needs, but we still have the court and the police. We have the room, we have the acreage, that's why we bought the property, we just gotta figure out how we wanna configure it and get numbers so we can, you know, work with those numbers.
Yeah, and coincidentally, AOW built the 911 station in Clarksville. I asked Al Bergzoli, the president, how much it cost, but he was being a little cagey. He wouldn't tell me. But he said it was very expensive, that particular 911 station. But he said he built another one because the walls are incredibly thick, the concrete reinforced steel. He said he built one south here. I can't remember the town, but it was less. And I was really trying to get a number out of him, like $1 million, $2 million. Like, what would it cost for such and such square footage? But like I said, they're aggressive bidders. So I told him, well, when we build one, we'll be contacting you. Sure. So we really like to do this, you know, at least get the ball going in 2026.
I agree.
So would the meeting room be added to the town hall, right?
They could possibly be all separate. You could have court, you could have town hall and a police station, depending on the numbers. And if the engineers say we can take one of those outbuildings and make it into a town hall, they're pretty huge. I think they're about 30 by 90, maybe more. Probably about 3,000 square feet.
I don't think we should be attached to the police, though. I mean,
No.
oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
But the engineers have to tell us yes or no. Like, yes, we can build on this foundation. Yes, these walls can be built on, or no, this has to be removed and built new. Mm-hmm. So, but that's the project for 2026. That's one of the main focuses that we're going to be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes a meeting room, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's.
If they turn out to be feasible, we'll actually have more room, I think, than we know what to do with those two buildings. They're huge.
Steve, you said that includes a what?
The meeting room.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure,
What's
because.
so expensive about the police
The
station?
building has the walls that they have to build are like 14, 16 inches thick.
Okay.
Reinforced steel. I haven't researched it, but according to the contractor that did our tenant renovation, he's built them, and they're, you know, they're fortresses.
I would assume that the same code for fire departments, right? You would assume, right?
Emergency services, they said,
No.
right?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, because I know I see it at A.W. Becker a lot, and they're building the Selkirk Fire Department there, and you can sort of see the walls going up and the steel beams and stuff, so it might be similar construction if you watch that going up all the time.
Yeah.
And certain interior walls that have to be steel as well. And the police station.
Okay.
Right, because the courts will also have some enhanced requirements in terms of construction that you'll need to satisfy.
Yeah, the bullet system walls, all that stuff. Yeah, it's.
I guess I'm just wondering, you know, they don't have this down here, so why?
Because we're grandfathered in here.
You know what I'm
Pre-existing
saying?
construction.
Yeah.
But as soon as you try and
As soon as you
build
move
something
from
new,
this building.
or even presumably if you renovate to a certain level, they're going to require you to meet today's standards, not what may have been, you know,
Yeah.
acceptable in whatever year this was occupied.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Any further discussion on phase 2? Hearing none, let's go right to the resolution.
I, Councilmember Hoteling, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Where the chief fiscal officer of the town of Cleveland has determined that in order to maintain proper balances within various accounts, an interfund transfer is necessary. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Cleveland does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to transfer the funds as depicted below for budget year 2025 from the general fund A. Amount $1,500 from account A, 5132.2 highway equipment, to account A, 5010.4 uniform and dues, and $2,000 from A, 7110.1 parks personnel, to account A, 5132.4 highway contractual.
I second that.
Discussion?
So for discussion, I just want to make it clear that account A 5010.4 is not uniform dues. It's actually titled Highway Administrative Contractual. So I'd like to revise that and amend our resolution to indicate that. The reason we might be transferring money may be because of the uniform dues payment, but the actual account is highway administrative contractual. And
that's the correct account, though? I mean, that should be where it goes to.
That's where,
yeah, I mean, that's, Mr. Baker has
Yes, Danny?
indicated that that's where we wanted it pulled from.
so 5010.4 is highway administrative contractual.
Correct.
So amending the resolution, noting that the $1,500 will be moved to account A, 5010.4, titled Highway Administrative Contractual.
So the code is right, just the definition's wrong. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So changed and amended.
And so I'll just go through the numbers that I got from Regina today, you know, just for any budget transfer. I like the public to know what the numbers are. I like the board to know. So in A 5132.2 highway garage equipment, the budget amount was $1,500. The current balance is $1,500. Account A 5010.4 highway administrative contractual, the budget amount was $5,000. The current balance is negative $1,067.69. Account A 7110.1 parks personal services, the budgeted amount was $69,600. The current balance is $19,941.90. And A 5132.4 highway garage contractual, the budget amount is $43,000 and the current balance is negative $1,151.85. I just want to thank Mr. Baker for sending the email that he sent to Regina and Sarah Morrison that explained this transfer and the reason for the transfer. So it met all of my requirements and expectations.
Further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution. Upcoming meetings, PBZBA has a meeting on the 17th of December at 7 p.m. and our next one is the 22nd at 6.
There's also a joint village town meeting on
18th.
at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Here, yeah.
Here.
That's here?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's definitely here.
It is,
okay.
Yeah.
It was going to be there if it was after their meeting.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And it's at 6 o'clock.
6
Right.
p.m.
Correct.
Any more public hearing comments out there?
Close the public hearing.
Yeah, public comment time. If anyone has any comments they'd like to make, please step to the lectern.
Linda Geraldson,
Good evening.
Fuller Road. Congratulations on the new move. I hope it's all working out well. Question, it's been a couple weeks since we've discussed truck traffic on Mountain Road, Fuller Road, Limekill. I know I heard some sort of scuttlebutt about doing a road study on that road, and I want to know where we're at.
So, Creighton Manning, I think there may be a conflict. I had spoke to them, was that last week? It might have been the week before that, after our last meeting. And I think we're at the point where we have to reach out to another road engineer.
Okay. And how long is that gonna be, and what is, where is it on the docket?
Well, that's a tomorrow phone call because I actually have to call LaBerge and talk to Ben Seiden for other USDA grant reasons, but we'll speak about that too. I spoke to him before, but last week, but not updating on the Creighton Manning.
Okay.
Spoke to that.
And you said that was a conflict of interest?
It's
do the road
seems
study?
like maybe because I haven't had a return phone call, so now I'm beginning to.
And I just question, why is the road study needed? There wasn't a road study done. Dan, did you do a road study on Jarvis to put a weight limit on it? So why is it needed on this? Why is Mountain Road a special road that needs a road study done?
That was suggested, I think, by our council.
Yeah, I just.
But you didn't suggest it for Jarvis Road?
It wasn't our council then.
Interesting. Okay. So the other council didn't think that was a problem. And where was the, expertise It was just Dan, it was just you and George that decided that that road was unfit?
It was the town board.
Town board decision.
But didn't it come from you guys, like walked it and said your expertise on it? It was unfit? And you found Mountain Road to be fit?
I don't recall that like that, no.
I think public comment should be directed to the board anyway.
Well, I just figured he's the first-hand man, like he was the one that did it, so I just figured he would have the expertise on it. I was just kind of curious on why it wasn't done on one road, but it needs to be done on another, and I understand that you recommended it, but why is it different? Like, why are we here doing a road study, paying an engineer to tell us that the road is not safe, which we all know it's not safe, but yet it was okay to do it for another road?
I mean, I can't.
You wanna respond how you explained it to us?
I don't know that anyone on this board was present when that prior road limit or weight limit was
Yeah,
imposed.
Mr. Smith
I was on the board.
No, it was, yeah.
That's fine, but I think as we look at this one, we do want to be certain that we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's. I think that certainly the impression many folks seem to have is that a weight limit may be appropriate and that there are limitations with that road that could make it unsafe for vehicles of a certain level. It may be a road of a certain nature that just can't withstand vehicles of a certain level. But I do think it's important that we have a professional who's independent weigh in and give us that opinion.
And
We're
is-
not.
And we're gonna need that professional opinion in the event that there are lawsuits as a result of,
If it's challenged, we should have done our homework and maybe
Well,
an
yes,
engineer,
I mean,
maybe an engineer will come back and say,
Obviously,
It's fine
everything's
as is.
challenged at this point,
but
I
we
think
should.
best practice too. I mean,
yeah.
making any decision
So-
with that, whether it's a local law, whether it's
That's right.
a closure of weight limits. I mean, don't you want all the data you can possibly get and information before you make a big decision?
Absolutely. Now, is it fair for me to ask for a temporary one put on until the study's done? In all fairness, I mean, we're, riding on a thread here, honestly, on whether that road is safe.
My thought would be, when we initially had this discussion, we reached out to LaBerge. It's really not their area of expertise. They did initially recommend Creighton Manning, so we made attempts to reach out to them. It appears that Creighton Manning may have, prior representations that would prevent them from undertaking this work. I think it makes sense to just try to see if we can identify another engineer, and then maybe if we find out from that engineer how long would a study take, then we could evaluate, are there interim steps that would even be permissible, and if they're permissible, that would be appropriate. But I think I'd just try to get a sense from an engineer of what's the time frame that they would anticipate.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fair. I mean, I'm on the other end of it,
Understood.
right? So I'm trying to, again, understand and allow after, technically we're on what, a year 7, 8, 9, but really 4 actively with me, active with DEC and, implementing everything that I can give them possibly to, for them to mitigate, what they need to mitigate for the order on consent and what that means, for the dust management. So, I mean, I know right now it's like you get a little reprieve because the windows are shut, but the roads are icy, there's been a little like, Mr. Jones was invited privately to Amrise for a meeting, and I have all of that information. I don't know why anybody else wasn't invited, but regardless, and there was some speculation and some talk on, we want to do, just Heidelberg trucks and, WM, which is a huge company, so I don't know how that benefits anybody, but not doing a lot of individual contractors, which again doesn't mean anything. A truck is a truck is a truck. So it doesn't matter where it comes from. You know, and some other interesting facts, you know, doing 5 miles an hour and, you know, little, you know, stuff. And I'm sure Bob will forward the email to you, Stephen, so that you have all that information on that meeting. You know, I mean, to me, it's just kind of like pipe smoke. I mean, honestly, if I can just be honest, I mean, I've heard so many lies circled around this entire thing that it's just so absurd. You know what I mean? About, you know, the road. And like I said, I have talked to DEC quite frequently about this and provide every single thing that I can provide to them about this. You know, and it's just like, I just really want something rectified this year. I don't want to go into another spring, summer where I'm wiping mud from my windows. You know what I mean? Or the health consequences, which we don't know. We have no idea where this goes from beyond that. You know, they did interesting talk about like they would try not to idle the trucks. Again, you cannot put more than one truck on that road. So if one's coming down, the other one's sitting down in front of my house idling. It has no place to go. End of sentence. You know, I mean, there's just not anything you can do about it. They can't pass, you know, that's it. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to keep on board, like, where are we? You know, I know you guys got a lot on your plate, and I know there's a lot going on, you know, with the terminology, and yeah, please take care of that, because that seems to be like a big problem. But also take care, you know, of this, because, you know, you guys left now, you're not at the bottom, like, getting all of it. You guys are on 9W, but yeah, we're still getting it, you know, we're still getting it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Linda.
I'll keep in contact, and hopefully we can get something relatively quickly on, you know, a new person to do a road study. You know, and DEC thought possibly it could be done in 2 months with what wouldn't be needed to secure that road in a road study, could possibly be done in 2 months. So again, if they know, you know what I mean, like exactly what they're speaking of, but they thought it could be done within a 2-month time frame.
Yeah, and there's a meeting that they're planning that DEC explicitly said that Albany County and the town of Queens needs to be in on the conversation between AmRise and DEC.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
we'll keep you apprised of.
Yes, please do. Like I said, I'm only doing mine and giving, you know, whatever I can to manage the dust, which is, you know, the real problem. You know, not, because I haven't even begun to go with anything else with the trucks. I'm just trying to get that point, you know, keep it in the quarry where it's supposed to, you know, secure your order on consent, which is what you're supposed to be doing, and get that all clean and inside the quarry and not, you know, outside. So that's my focus and my goal. And with that is obviously the trucks. Okay,
Thank you, Linda.
thanks.
Let me try and answer some of that, all right? So, I was on the board back then, and the trucks were traveling out South Jarvis, okay? And they really degraded the road back then, and the residents were upset. And then they started going out North Jarvis, and it started degrading that road as well. A few of us from the board went and met with Lafarge at the time, and that's when the access road came into play. You guys remember the access road? They were gonna put in a new access road, you remember that? All that talk about that? So we met with them and they said, we're gonna build an access road that goes down on 101. In the meantime, that board at that time said they're gonna go out lime kiln. And they said it would take 2 to 3 years. It ended up being like 4 years, right, Linda? And
Oh, the access road has been talked about for at least 7 now.
so it was supposed to be like the fourth quarter of 2023, 2024. And then I think at the end of the day, it never came to fruition.
it's still pending in their permit that they haven't received. from
So
10 years ago.
again, they were involved as well. So I think some of the reasoning for that was they had said that they were gonna do the access road. So temporarily, now again, it's been years, but temporarily they were gonna go out through Limekiln and they were gonna build this road, which I don't think they're ever gonna do it.
I beg to differ. My understanding is, and I'm not speaking for either of the parties because we're not involved today, but there is active discussions that when the permit is received, whether it's the first quarter of next year or whenever DEC decides to do it, that they have a outline of an arrangement to fund the construction of a new road. I would beg to differ some of the comments that were made and strongly urge anybody with the time to invest in it to push to get that permit, because the road onto 101 is the answer for everyone, in my opinion.
So I did see a rendition that Lafarge proposed. I didn't really agree with it. It was like a $4 million road. They were gonna mine it down 90 feet, and that changed their mining plan. So then that's where DEC and everybody got involved. And I'm saying to myself the whole time we were talking, you're gonna spend $4 million just so the trucks can go out to 101? To me, it sounded like it was a little much just for an access road. Here we are today, 4 years later, it hasn't happened, right? There is a temporary road there. They do, from time to time, bring heavy equipment down that road. But I think you guys should meet with them and you guys need to say, look, we're gonna take some action, right? And by local law, you guys can post their road. You guys can post it. You say, put up or shut up. What are we doing here? How many years has it been? 10 years? How long is it gonna be, right? Come to the table. Let's get a road in up there. Let's give these people some reprieve. Let's do something, right?
Yeah, that's the purpose for the road study.
So is the road study gonna study Jarvis as well? Because certainly until the new road is permitted, you can't shut down all those trucks. That's an active business.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but
The town has the authority to regulate its roads.
Absolutely.
And so
Certainly.
We'll take a
And
look at Mountain Road
it's
extension.
up to them to come to you guys and say, we have a solution.
They do, and they have been.
So. if
I would say no
just
more
interrupt
talk. It's
for a
time
minute,
for,
yeah.
time to
And I
bring
said at a town board meeting what I thought, and in hindsight's 2020, right? I mean, I wasn't on the board, but I would have said, if you think it's gonna take 2 or 3 years, then sign this contract, and in 3
Yeah, I
years, if it's not no road, then it's shut down, and you told us it was gonna be built. But
and again, I think we all want the same thing, right? And again, I think everybody, you got to feel for these people, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just not right. It's not right. And we all want the same thing. We all want the problem to be rectified. So whatever you guys got to do, you got to get on Amrise and you got to get them. I don't know, DEC, Amrise, state, Zach Collins, the county, whoever's got to get involved. We got to get involved. A couple other things. You guys were talking about the new police building and court. I don't see why they can't be connected in one building, right? They are here. I mean, why wouldn't you want the police at the court, right? To me, that sounds odd. So, and the other thing is, it's gonna be a $5 million, $6 million build. How are you guys planning on paying for it?
Well, we would bond that out, obviously, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess we don't know. How do you know it's $5 or $6 million?
Well, trust me, it's
Depending
gonna
on
be
how-
1 million.
Well,
Because
more than
in all honesty, again, it surely could be, Dan, I have no idea. But that's why I kept saying, like, we need to get an update engineering report to see what our vision is, put it on paper and tell us whether they do it by square footage of what we're trying to figure out, give us a number. Because we were proven wrong before. I think our ideas to renovate what we have now was double, was like $400,000 to $500,000, and it cost us $225,000. Mm-hmm. So I guess speculation is a dangerous game. I'm looking forward to getting some hard numbers.
I went to the groundbreaking for the Selkirk Firehouse.
Yeah.
Right? Any guesses on what that is?
10 million.
17 million.
Wow.
Okay, and that was scaled back. 17 million.
What's the square footage on that building?
I don't know, and I was thinking about. I knew one of you guys were going to ask that.
It looks huge.
It's probably gonna be big.
I don't know.
Like 15,000.
But anyways,
That also includes they have a police substation out there too, don't they?
I
This
don't
is the one
think
up by A.W. Becker?
Yeah.
I think it also.
I don't think so.
their ambulance and all that too.
So again, it's gonna be a big project. The other thing, it was brought to my attention that the sewer truck got damaged during the snowstorm. Is there any information on that?
There's a police report, and I hadn't seen the insurance report.
Do we have an estimate yet? I mean, I saw
I
that.
think Keith stopped by with an estimate from Feliciano's for $5,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one
Oh,
question.
yeah.
One quick question. When you had the meeting with the planning and zoning board, is that an open meeting?
It will be an open meeting.
And do you have a schedule for that?
I am.
They emailed us like 2 hours ago
Yeah.
and said, do you have any dates? So we got to talk amongst each other. And then once we figure it out, we'll probably talk about it at a board meeting, and then it'll be posted as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, the PBZBA had a meeting this past Monday. They talked about, the local law and the definitions and everything, and
Did they talk about it openly, or was that because that meeting wasn't recorded?
well, I'm not sure why the meeting wasn't recorded, and I also am not sure why there wasn't a stenographer here to take minutes. So as far as I'm concerned, that meeting, while it was here and while it was an open meeting, there are no meeting minutes and there is no recording. So
The
I don't
recording
know.
didn't happen due to the move. Servers were broken down when the link was already set up. So after
Okay.
the servers were broken down, apparently it had to be reset up.
Okay.
Monday was kind of a busy day.
I'm sure.
And I don't even know if it could have been done by the end of the day, but we didn't realize that it had to be reset again after the servers were broken down.
I think it's just, again, best practice to maybe at their next meeting, we talked about in the back, maybe at their next meeting, whoever gives a little synopsis of the key points that went on during that meeting.
Because we don't think any action was taken, so it's really just at the next meeting, they'll summarize the discussions that took place and then.
I mean, my understanding was there was some recusals that took place, so I think it definitely has to be discussed in depth.
Document that.
Yeah.
Linda wasn't there?
What's that?
Linda wasn't there?
No.
I think she had food poisoning, yeah.
Somebody, at least on that committee, at least here, should have like handy dandy digital
Minutes, right.
or at least have one of your like little recorders that,
Should they have proceeded with that meeting based upon all of that?
I think
Any
they thought
inclusion?
it was being recorded
Oh,
until.
because Bill was here.
Yes,
And
they thought it was being recorded,
Okay,
and
so
then
it's
I think they
really-
were getting text messages
Okay.
on their phone saying, "Hey, we can't see or hear anything," as it was going on. And then I think, I believe, Ms. Grogan was called back, and Mr. Horton was like, "Everything's on. It should be good. I'm not sure what's going on," but it was the link that was the issue. Yeah.
And I can speak with Attorney Kennery about, he may, based on his own notes, just be able to come up with some.
I'm sure.
Some basic minutes so that the board, will document what took place. He can present those to the board for approval, and then again at the next meeting, I think it would be helpful while the camera's rolling to just summarize essentially what took place and what was discussed and what the next steps will be.
I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on like what's happening with the dust and the trucks and the order on consent that's signed between DEC and Amrise. So regardless, you could put a new road in tomorrow. The dust mitigation still has to happen, which I think everybody's missing, okay? So those 160 trucks can go out on 101, they still cannot trail dust, okay? Which is what they're doing coming down Limekill, Fuller, Mountain, okay? So it's not necessarily only about, put a new road in, it solves the problem. No. That does not solve the problem. It solves the problem that I'm not seeing trucks, but it still doesn't solve the problem of the dust mitigation coming out of the quarry and Amrise not securing their order on consent. So I think there's a couple components here, okay, that I just want to make sure that everybody understands fully, what's happening. It's not even, the amount of trucks. Unfortunately, the trucks are the ones trailing all of the dust out of the quarry, okay? So, but that still has to stop. It still has to stop regardless of what road it goes out on.
Yeah, I believe DEC requires a fugitive dust management.
That's right.
plan.
That's right, and I haven't been able to foil to look at the new one. I mean, last time I spoke to DEC, it was like that week that was happening, that Amrise had to put in, yes, put in the dust management, like what was going to happen. I haven't been, too busy to look at it, to foil it, to see what it consists of. I do think our meeting at Amrise, they had spoken of, a robust wash station, and a couple other things, but whatever that entails, it still doesn't matter unless they secure that on what road it comes out on.
Does their plan for the new road on 101 include dust mitigation measures?
I would hope so. I mean, we're all still breathing it.
I would assume so, but.
I would hope so, and I would assume
I don't
so.
have the information.
No, excuse me?
If comments, I think, should just generally be directed to the board, by anybody making comments.
Yeah. And so according to my conversation with DEC, that is what needs to happen, is the dust still needs to be managed. It's not like a free-for-all, oh, we're gonna open up our road on 101 and then we're just gonna pollute the town of Queens. No, that's not an option.
Have you spoken with them recently?
No, I have not I spoke to DEC right after the meeting at Amrise, that we were there. So I have not spoken to him to ask him if they provided that new dust mitigation. Obviously the trucks have slowed down. There has been a decrease in traffic, but I also do know that a lot of them are probably hauling salt. And this is a very normal pattern also when anything is brought to attention. It's like kind of sort of a cat and mouse game. So I'm very familiar with how this works over all these years. They're just, it's just waiting and then I'll have 300 trucks on my road. It's a basic, I'm living it. You know what I mean? Like I can't make it up. I've provided you guys with the information. I can't, it's what I'm living. But the dust is the problem. I mean, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. We can't just put a road in and think the problem's going to go away, because it's not.
Okay, well, as soon as I get more information about the DEC Amrise meeting with Albany County DPW,
Yeah.
Queens, we'll let the residents know.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
I think also at the time that the DEC hopefully issues the permits, there will be a public hearing. And representatives from Lafarge Amrise said it was very important for the public to comment during that period. So hopefully we will all know when it comes out, and I'll do my best to get it out to the community, because the more we speak up about our needs and wants for this road, the better it will be.
So just coming in late here as it relates to a traffic study, what is the specific purpose of that, if it's known, and scope?
I think in terms of the scope, that will be part of a discussion with the engineers. But in terms of the general purpose, I think it's to have engineers take a look at Mountain Road extension and evaluate whether it can withstand the truck traffic that it's currently experiencing, and or whether there are aspects of Mountain Road extension that would cause that road to be unsafe for trucks of a certain weight. And we'd like an engineer to weigh in on that issue.
And will that extend to North and South Jarvis Road as well, in the event that action has to be taken for Mountain Road?
I mean, at this point, I think we're really just taking a look at Mountain Road extension, because that's a road that doesn't have a weight limit on it. The weight limits on other roads in the town have existed for a number of years, and I don't think there's any real intention to take those weight limits off. I think there were, we had a public hearing or public meeting several months ago where, different alternatives were discussed, and I've not received any indication that there's an intent by the town board to remove weight limits on those other routes.
Understood. And certainly if a weight limit were to be imposed, Lafarge would have to find other means to deliver their fuel and move their equipment in and out. to provide blasting materials. It would basically shut down all truck traffic into and out of the quarry. Is that correct? Is that the intention?
I don't think it's the intention, but there is heavy truck traffic still on South Jarvis. I've spoke to the residents over the summer, and I've seen them go down. I followed them when they have huge equipment going down there on lowboy trailers, just out of curiosity, and also talk to the people at the quarry. They have a business up there, just to sort of get a handle on what's happening. There's not the intention of shutting down the business. There's the intention of protecting the town and its residents.
Certainly.
I think ultimately, if that were the route that the town were to go, I think there would have to be exceptions for some sort of local deliveries up there. I mean, I can't expect, that if there was a weight restriction up there, that it would totally, cease to
And
allow them to function.
Sure. I'd have to look
So
at
the-
your current local law, but I think that there are local delivery exceptions to the current weight limits as well. So, I mean, we would have to evaluate all of that based on the recommendations that we get from the engineer.
Certainly. I would just urge you to look at all of the roads in and out, because there is a lot of vehicles going in and out of there beyond the aggregate delivery trucks. So there may be some unintended consequences that affect the livelihoods of dozens, if not hundreds, of people working at Lafarge and at the port. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm coming at you as a disgruntled old man. She took the wind out of my sails with saying that by making a new road wasn't going to solve the problem. It'll help the problem greatly if you do have your restrictions on dust and all that stuff and all the wash downs and all that stuff. But Mountain Road Extension at the bottom of I think it's McCulloch, there's a spider web of infrastructure in there. And if you'll notice, the village is always in there digging. And I think that's what their big concern is having truck traffic going through there. And that's why they reduced it at I think it's 4 ton or 4 ton minimum or something for local traffic. But Danny's making the best he can do with the building he's in. The police are established down here, and I think that they're fine where they are for now. You guys have your new building on 9W, and I think that's great. It's good for bringing businesses in and being professional and all like that. But instead of just for your information, between Marco's and your building, there's a major culvert pipe that goes through there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you'd be able to build over that or around it or anything. But anyway, these millions.
Where that catch basin is that Marco's or? I never mark it when I'm coming through. Is that by the bank?
If you come down the hill, across the street from Marco's, there's at the bottom of the hill, you'll see a giant embankment, and there's a culvert pipe that goes there. And I believe it's like 3 foot. And that goes all the way over through, I think, Mount Del Sol or whatever they call it now.
Oak Brook Manor.
Oak Brook Manor, thank you. Sorry, I'm old. But you'd have to contend with that. But my point is, instead of taking $4 or $5 million to build a new town hall and all that stuff, maybe we should come up with a plan. I know it's a lot of money, but to make another road to go between 9W and 144 to eliminate all truck traffic from the village and the town. You'd need to build 2 bridges, and there's got to be state funding. I'm sure that Carver would do whatever they could do to make it happen, because it really would benefit them. And plus all the other town hands, all these guys, it would benefit all of them. But you'd have to build a railroad bridge, and you'd have to put a bridge under or over, or go under or over the thruway bridge. But then you'd have just a truck road. Charge permits, make them pay a special permit and have a sticker on their truck. They're the only ones that can use that. But I think that's the biggest concern of the town right now, as far as needs for the town. Just to keep, if your house is livable, that's great. If you get extra money, improve it. But right now, you have a big problem. And I think you really need to address that problem with the trucks. And I just think that everybody would be on board with it. If people had to donate land, whatever it had to happen to make it happen, they would do it. But I think that we really should focus on that. Anyway, thank you.
I agree. Thanks, Ken.
Maybe you could talk to the Forge again and see if maybe they would change their mind about putting a road through there. Worth it.
We are about to enter into some extensive talks, and everybody is of a serious attitude as we're going into it. Albany County, Town of Queens, all the industry, obviously the agriculture and the residents.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page. I think we're honing in on it.
The last I knew, they were gonna use Tonight Hill, come down Tonight Hill to 101 and go across.
That's what their current application is.
Yeah, that's the road that
Yeah,
everyone's talking about.
yeah.
But their current application gets them as far as 9W, and then they would go north or south or not on 9W. It looks like south on 9W and still through the village. So I think the question that Mr. Burns, was it, had raised was whether you could extend that on the other side of 9W to get all the way to the port or 144.
All right. Any further public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive.
We have to close the public hearing for
Oh,
the sewer
okay.
rates.
Yeah, make a motion to close the public hearing for the sewer rates 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Now I'll make a motion to go into executive session. What are we discussing?
Personnel matters.
Personnel matters?
I'll second that.
No decisions will be made and we will not be coming back. We will be adjourning from executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Natalie. 6.
Well, it's a great.
Ron, thank you. This was a great pen.